The Washington Commanders have lost their second preseason game of the year versus the Detroit Lions in a kind of disappointing fashion here, guys. We're going to be breaking down my thoughts and my winners and losers from this preseason loss here on the Commanders Report by Chat Sports, presented by Prize Picks. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. And guys, we're going to be having these kinds of instant reaction videos coming out after Commanders games for every single game this year, preseason, regular season, and hopefully some postseason games. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already to never miss any of our Commanders post-game shows, and then also our watch parties. We're just coming off the watch party right now, guys. It was a ton of fun. We're going to have another one next week against the Baltimore Ravens as we prepare for the start of the regular season. So if you guys want to join us, make sure you click that subscribe button. Help us get to 55,000 subscribers here on the Commanders Report. So let's talk about this game, guys. It started off with a bang, literally, with Amik Robertson laying the boom on starting quarterback for today's game for the Lions, Joshua Dobbs, getting a forced fumble, and then the ball rolls all the way to the end zone where rookie edge rusher Joshua Josephs picks it up for a touchdown. But other than that, the Commanders didn't score another touchdown for the rest of the game. The offense just scored 6 points the rest of the way. I think that the run blocking was really bad, particularly from the offensive line. The defense, I didn't think their run defense was all that great for most of this game. They played better down the stretch, but overall, man, disappointing performance really all the way around. But I thought Athan Kaliakmanis, the rookie quarterback from Rutgers, looked really, really solid today. Definitely don't think there's any reason for Sam Hartman to make this team this year with the way Kaliakmanis is playing. But then some injury updates here, at least of players that left to go to get checked out by trainers. Van Jefferson left with an injury. Ben Sinnott went to the blue tent, and then Jeffrey Emba also left as well. We'll get you guys updates on those guys when Dan Quinn hits the podium either later today or before the Commanders get practice going again. But just keep an eye on those particular players. But then we get to our winners list here, where I thought Amik Robertson obviously made a statement today. There's been a lot of talk about, will the Commanders maybe start Rasul Douglas? Will they maybe start somebody else? And Amik Robertson, was he really competing for a starting job? Doesn't appear that that's the case after that awesome hit that he laid on that forced fumble on Joshua Dobbs. His day was over. So the Commanders clearly saw everything that they needed to see from him. Very physical presence. He is a dog competitor, and that's exactly what this defense needed. So really love the addition here from Amik Robertson, and he definitely made a statement against his former team here today. Then we get to Quan Martin, who got another interception today. Now, you can make an argument. This is preseason football against backup quarterbacks that are making mistakes. Certainly the case with Quinn Ewers' interception to Martin last week, and it was the case once again with Dobbs overthrowing a pass and scramble drill over the middle of the field, which landed right in the lap of Quan Martin. It certainly seems at this point that Jeremy Reeves is still the favorite to be this team's starting free safety, but it's nice to see Martin being around the football and making plays. So really excited to see what Quan Martin has in store for us this season. Then TJM here, the International Pathway Program player, got a sack today. Good for him. He's been working really hard to hone his skills here at the Washington Commanders. It's nice to see that pay off with a nice sack. Then Maurice Hurst got 2 sacks in this game today. Good for him. Just recently signed off of free agency here, and he was one of their additions that they made this week. So for him to come in and make an immediate impact with the 3rd and 4th team units was good to see. Then Athan Kaliakmanis, who I thought had a really good game today, looked poised in the pocket, looked like he knew what he was doing out there. He was standing in some tight pockets in there, still delivering the ball down the field and over the middle through a beautiful deep ball to Nick Nash that went for a big gain. And listen, man, he went 11 of 14, and there were some drops in the mix there in terms of the incompletion. So he didn't have a touchdown today, but he also didn't put the ball in harm's way the way that Sam Hartman did, who had a strip sack fumble. So I thought Kaliakmanis played pretty darn well today. In fact, my only complaint is that I wish he would have played more. Sam Hartman, we know what he is at this point. I don't know why he was splitting the reps with Kaliakmanis today. But sometimes that's just the way it goes. Next week, Kaliakmanis should definitely be getting more reps than Sam Hartman, in my opinion. But who's your MVP from the day today? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comment section. I think my pick has got to be Amik Robertson for that forced fumble. I think definitely Athan Kaliakmanis is in the mix for that as well. Let me know who you guys think was the MVP for the Commanders in this preseason loss. But before we get into the rest of our winners and then we get to our losers list here, guys, to finish up the show, I want to tell you about our presenting sponsor here in the Commanders Report, which is Prize Picks, America's #1 sports picks app. Preseason football is now here, and there isn't a better place to cash in on your football takes this season than with our friends at PrizePicks. The app is really easy to use. You just pick more than or less than on a few player stat projections and then lock in your lineup. And right now, guys, it seems like Fonzie and I are going to be able to be doing a pretty decent job here on this PrizePicks lineup for this week. We did a flex lineup, which means only 2 of the 3 of these things need to hit for us to win on a $20 entry fee. Unfortunately, Jake Bates missed his second field goal attempt today, so unfortunately we did not get that one. But Joshua Dobbs hit the less there on the passing yards, and then Shadur Sanders, I think his day is over right now, and he is under. So that means Pronzi and I are walking away with some money with our friends at PrizePicks. And if you guys want to be the next to win some money from PrizePicks here, PrizePicks just switched their offer. All you have to do is play your first $5 lineup with code HMA. And if you win that lineup, you get $150 in additional lineups. Because of this new offer, there's not a better time to join than right before the start of football season. So lock in and win that first lineup today. One more time, that's code HMA at sign up to get $150 in bonus lineups if you win your first $5 lineup. Click the link in the comments and description to download the app today. As always, play responsibly, and a big thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring the Commander's Report. Another winner from today, I thought Tyler Owens looked really good. Out there, blitzing. He looked super physical. He was flying around. Like a guy of his physical talents, man, you can find work for him to do, and he was definitely showing that off today. Blew up the Detroit Lions running back that tried to block him today on a blitz. It was just absolutely disgusting. But then Jaden Bradley made one of the best catches I've seen in a while, maybe since probably last week when Caleb Douglas of the Miami Dolphins had a one-handed catch. Bradley had a very similar one-hander where he was being interfered with, where the Detroit corner was holding his arm down, and he comes down with a fade ball with just one hand. An awesome catch for somebody that's had a really strong start to camp. I think Bradley is making a case for himself to make the practice squad here in Washington. Then Antonio Williams, I thought had a good day today as well. Had multiple catches, had a really good catch on a pass that was slightly thrown behind him from Athan Kaliakmanis on a third down play where he was stepping up in the pocket and threw it over the middle. Had to come back and make the catch in a contested situation. Ended up with 41 yards today with an average of over 13 yards per reception. Thought he looked good and sharp out there. Made that nice tough catch, which is not something that Williams is really known for at Clemson. To know that that's in there is very encouraging as we approach the season. Then I thought Percy Butler was a winner today simply because of what he did on special teams. Like he showed today in multiple stops and kick coverage, etc., that this guy is an indispensable part of this team's special teams coverage, just like Jeremy Reeves is, which is probably a big reason why Percy Butler's been on this roster for a long time and probably will make the roster again this year. And then Drew Stevens did not miss a kick today. Of course, it was announced this week that Jake Moody, his competition at that position, had been cut. So Stevens, a little bit of pressure today to prove that, yeah, that was the right decision, and he delivered every single time he was out there. Now we're on to the losers list here, guys. Sam Hartman tops this list for me because Kaliakmanis looks so good, and Hartman didn't play necessarily like the worst Sam Hartman game I've ever seen in my life, but it was a Sam Hartman game. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks skittish in the pocket. He looks completely, he doesn't have the arm strength to be able to push the ball down the field into tight windows. He had one nice play rolling out to his right down the sideline, and the completion percentage was fine. But you have to realize here that a lot of these completions are really short. He's dinking and dunking it, and there's not a whole lot of passes being completed down the field for Sam Hartman. It's also not shown here, but he had a strip sack fumble on something that he just didn't have any awareness on. So, I think it's pretty clear at this point that Kaliakmanis is the third best quarterback on this team, and Sam Hartman should be delegated either to the practice squad or to bagging groceries somewhere. Then we get to the offensive line, and I'm just going to include the entire offensive line, guys, because it just wasn't good enough from this unit, whether it was the first group that gave up 2 quick pressures versus Jaden Daniels on a drive that quickly ended in a 3-and-out, and that's all we got to see of Jaden Daniels today, to the rest of the units, and especially the run blocking, man. It was just really bad. The running backs getting contacted in the backfield consistently. The pass protection, I think it held up pretty nicely for Kaliakmanis later in the game, but it's definitely a big concern heading into the season with Laramie Tunsil out for likely the entire season. This first team unit was not good enough today, and it needs to be much better moving forward. This group is going to do anything worth noting of this season. Then we get to some specific examples here of offensive linemen that I thought didn't play super well today. Julian Good-Jones got beat time and time again. He just wasn't very good at center again today, guys. He should not be on this team, but right now he's the first team center with Nick Allegretti out. Then another loser, unfortunately, was Matt Gulbin, who played a lot of guard today, actually. And you know what that tells me, guys? That tells me that this team does not plan on Gulbin being a center this year unless Nick Allegretti gets injured. So they want him to get reps at both guard and center because he's going to be like their swing interior offensive lineman. And you don't give Matt Gulbin reps at guard if you think he's even got a shot to be your starting center this year. It pretty much confirms Nick Allegretti will be this team's starting center when he gets back from his injury here. And then Nicholas Petit-Frere was awful, man. You bring him in here recently, somebody that's been a former starter for Tennessee, but he's been like the worst starting offensive tackle in the league for multiple years now. And that definitely showed even against the Detroit Lions backups. He's not somebody that should make this team, in my opinion. Then you get to the run defense. Generally speaking, I think the Lions had a really efficient day on the ground. I thought, kudos to those running backs for fighting for extra yardage, etc. But the read option that went for a touchdown with Joshua Dobbs, terrible reads by both Joshua Josephs and Sonny Styles, just not good stuff there. Run defense, just in general, needs to be better moving forward if, this defense wants to be worth their salt. Then Kaytron Allen, I put in the loser category as well, just because, I didn't think he was blocked up particularly well. Now, I thought he did a pretty decent job today in terms of making the most of his situations, but I just felt like he didn't have a whole lot of opportunities today because of the offensive line play. Then Sonny Styles, unfortunately, hasn't looked terrific through these first 2 weeks of preseason. And listen, man, linebacker might be the hardest position in the league to play really well in right away in your NFL career. And Sonny Styles is still very new to that position, and you can definitely tell out there. His run diagnostics are really slow. He's entering the wrong gap many times. It's just not looking good for Sonny Styles at this current point in time in the preseason, guys. I wish I could tell you something different because this team spent such a high draft pick on him, but this is a very highly volatile position to draft a player in the top 10. I'm not saying that I'm panicking about Sonny Styles. I think that eventually he's going to be, this team's defensive captain and a big-time piece for this defense. But, it might take a year or two for him to fully get comfortable inside Durante Jones's system. And, in terms of him being a big-time impact player this year, he still has multiple steps left to go, in my opinion, in his development, if he's going to do that. And then Will Harris also making this list, just did not look good in coverage today. Missed some tackles in open space. This is somebody that was a starter for this team last year, and he looks as bad as he is. Not good if he's trying to make this team and trying to get a part of the safety rotation. Then Robert Henry Jr., one of the biggest winners of last week's game, in my opinion. Had an opportunity to really shine with Jeremy McNichols dealing with an injury and Jerome Ford being placed on season-ending IR. This was really an opportunity for Henry to show out. And not only, did he finish with -3 rushing yards, which, by the way, wasn't all his fault. Like we talked about, the offensive line was so bad. He was consistently getting contacted in the backfield. But he also had a huge fumble at the end of this game where the Commanders were going to get the ball with a chance to win this game late with Athan Kaliakmanis, and he fumbles the ball, and it goes back to Detroit, and they're able to wind down the rest of the clock. So just not a good day from Robert Henry Jr. Next week's going to be huge for him if he wants to make this final 53-man roster, or at this point, even the practice squad. Then Lawrence Cager, multiple drops today. Not a good day from Cager, who's had a good camp reportedly, but just not a good day today. I thought punt coverage was pretty darn bad today as well. Multiple missed tackles, multiple good returns for Detroit. That needs to be cleaned up. And then also penalties, guys. The penalties is just way too much. Detroit was also pretty sloppy with penalties in the second half, but just not good enough for a team that wants to take a step up after a disappointing season last year. Those definitely need to be cleaned up in the weeks to come. So what say you guys? Let me know down there in the comment section. Grade today's performance from the Commanders. Simply give me a yes, or not a yes. Give me an A, B, C, D, or F down there in the comment section to let me know what you guys think. Now, just some final thoughts here to finish up today's show. Obviously, just not good enough from the Washington Commanders. A lot of, people being in the wrong place, a lot of missed tackling, a lot of penalties, not enough execution, especially when you got into Lions territory, turnovers, you name it. It was a problem for the Washington Commanders today, but that doesn't mean that there weren't legitimate bright spots. I think Athan Kaliakmanis looked really good. And if you get to the point where you're asking him to play in an NFL game this year, hopefully that's not the case, but if it is, I feel pretty confident at this point that he's going to be able to at least survive out there, better to the level of like a Jeff Driscoll or a Josh Johnson or Sam Hartman, some of the QB3s we've seen here in Washington over the last several years. So it's just preseason, guys. I'm not worried about necessarily anything super crazy right now, but definitely not the prettiest day and not the cleanest day for the Washington Commanders there in the Motor City. And by the way, guys, you guys can check out our Sonny Styles t-shirts here. If you believe in Sonny Styles like we do here on the Commanders Report, you think he's going to be a mainstay here in Washington, you guys can go check out his t-shirt on our merch website right now, chatsports.com/Sonny. T-shirts are $24.99 on our website right now, so if you guys want to make a purchase, we'd greatly appreciate you. That'll be it for today's show, guys. Greatly appreciate your support. We'll see you guys next time, and until then, hail to the Commanders.